Hi class, this is your video feedback for your soft launch of your Real Deal Taco website. So here's the thing I want everybody to remember. One, please go through everybody's feedback so that you can learn what you may have thought about doing or something that you probably won't do but may have thought of doing. And also make sure that you implement the feedback that you're given, because you can make a 100 on your soft launch because you met the rubrics and benchmark for that particular phase, but that doesn't mean that it's complete. And so if the feedback isn't implemented, the changes aren't updated for the week 4 revision submission of this site, then you may not make a 100 on that, because that will have higher standards and the benchmarks will be placed a little higher. So make sure that you implement the feedback that you're given if you expect to make a 100 for week 4 for your final project. So we're just going to jump right in, and I go through these like a first-time user. Doesn't mean I haven't looked at them or haven't seen them a little bit, but primarily I'm reacting to it as a user. So the things that you were supposed to have done were to have the fictitious site disclaimer in place, the updated copyright, and the logo that would also be on your site somewhere, usually on every page or on the first page. Having it fixed is a good idea. So now I'm going to go through and just give you general feedback. Here I'm looking at the navigation. Everything is all caps except this. So that's something that everybody will want to watch, and that is having your fonts be consistent throughout. Generally, you want to choose 2 fonts. You can go to fontjoy.com and play around with combinations that work well. Usually a sans serif header with a serif body copy, or reverse. That is a serif, sans serif on top and a serif on the bottom, and vice, or swap it. So let's look at this. If we hit the online order, okay. So if we say we're not taking orders, you do have things in here. So Fernando, that's good, and I won't have you disable this page. But typically, if we have anything that is under construction or to come, we just make that disabled, because there's no reason to tell people what might be there one day. Let's see. Now, here's the thing. I don't have, I could probably, nope, I don't have, I can hit this, but I need navigation on every page. This site works okay because of the blue, but if we get down a little further, I'm pretty sure this is the particular template that feels a lot more like a Mexican restaurant rather than a taco food truck. We need to make sure we don't have, and this is for everyone, most people will do this at this phase, we want to make sure we don't have tableware, because that's not something that really depicts a food truck. This starts to look a little Italian because of the red and green, so be careful with your colors. Everybody wants to make sure that they've got their colors on brand, which would be a lot of this blue and things that go with that. Red a little less, green sometimes, but that's where we are with that. If you run out of space here, you guys, if you notice, Monday and Wednesdays, they're on the same place, same as Tuesday and Thursdays. So if you wanted to, you could just say, you know, Monday, Wednesdays, Tuesday, Thursday, and that would give you a little room if that's what you want to do. Let's make sure that our logos are not clipping here. Okay, give plenty of padding. And that's for your ads and everything. I think we can get rid of this container, this division here. This is out of focus, so I just would remove that. You know, it's okay here, but I think, and this is great, Fernando, you've got that down. That's just great. And you've got your social media icons over here. And what you can do is link those up. And we have a Real Deal Taco Facebook fictitious site, so you can link to that. Yeah, I think I would do away with that background. It's just competing. They have little fish and things you can put here instead of these. Nice. I like that you have those events here. And I wonder if I select this. Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. All right. And we do have the back button, which takes us here. We'll need to, when you resubmit, make sure there's no text placeholder text, okay? Or placeholder images. This is good. You've got your images there. Very good. Make sure you dig down and see the other layers, the files that have additional photos of tacos, if you didn't already. Just make sure you know that they're there. So let's check out the menu. Okay. Good job. You entered everything. That's really great. Make sure you check the spelling. Everyone wants to do a check for that. And let's bring this word up, making sure that it's not single by itself. It's good to have these with the same lines, and you're allowed to edit this. It wouldn't be true of a real menu, but I'm going to let you edit it to make it look good. Like have these be the same number of lines. Maybe another word down here. You can add a word. It's fine with me. And I'm really glad. Here's one thing. I'm not going to go over every detail on every site after this because a lot of the same things are going to come up. And I've already mentioned them on poor Fernando's site. So thank you, Fernando, for allowing me to dig deeper into your site so that others can also benefit. Let's see, I want to hit this. Okay, this is common too. You'll want to break this up into paragraphs. And pretty good, you took out some content, I think. You may want to take out just a little more when you split up your paragraphs, and let's put a period here. I don't think that's your fault because it always happens. There's never that period there. Let's make sure our fonts are consistent. So let's look at story. Let's look at about us. Okay, about us is the same as story, really. So you can remove one of those. And maybe that's your plan because this isn't linking to the story or the about us. So I think I would just rename this about us, delete this. Okay, name this about us, go here and say about us. If you want to do story, that's okay. But make sure it's all caps like this. So happenings, events, we go here. We do have some extra clicks going on. We go here, but then we have to click. So if you you can do that, but other people might want to go ahead and have a separate page. I don't know how much more work that would be for you to change all of that. Okay, your testimonials. This font. Okay, so we've got a few different fonts. You may want to go through that. Make sure everything is the same. Like if that's going to be all caps, then if you go to happenings, you may want to reference that a little bit. Or use this font for a story. That might be easier for you. You could put it here too. Menu. All right. Okay, so you'll have a little more content to put there. And your locations were right here. Okay, so you can have a link to that instead of the about. Okay, all right. And since the more is just the contact page, let's just put the contact page there. We can say contact, doesn't have to say us. But instead of more with the drop down, let's just do one. Thing about drop downs, you guys, is they often cover up content, and that's when we run into problems. All right? Really good job, Fernando. And, you know, just some tweaks that need to happen, but it shouldn't be too tough for you. All right? All right. So the logo is definitely there, a little large. I think we need the disclaimer down here, although you have it here, so that's fine. Yeah, I think we want to rework this. I like this. I like this banner. I like this font. I like the color, and it does read. But somehow, you know, this doesn't look like, you know, it's a vector graphic. It doesn't, you know, we have pixelating on it. So we need to have a file, the transparent file or the scalable vector graphic of that, which is in your folder, so that you can size that probably down and not clip it here. Okay. Nice amount of content. Nice. I like how your the gutters are even, they're equal. I'm not sure you need the word images there. And if you're going to put a space here, put a space there. Okay. Let's try not to have one word on a line. Sometimes it's because it's, yeah. All right. It's responsive, so when it goes to a smaller screen, it will shift that and reflow. Okay, so dessert is on a separate page. Let's check and see if these fonts are actually the same. And how do I get back? I need a menu. I need a navigation menu to get back. Okay, fewer clicks. Okay, but it's all clean. I do like that. The colors are good. The brand's good. I like the white on the blue. Okay, I think this could be laid out a little differently. You do have it combined. That's cool. But maybe less space. Okay, and maybe we need a little bit of hierarchy here, so we see Monday, Wednesday apart from lunch. You know, maybe it's all caps or bold or something like that, and you can work with that. And this is nice, just the right amount of text there. And you've got your events. And this is going to the Real Deal Taco. I can tell down here, see? And this is also going there. Cool. So you've really done a lot of work, Reginald. And you've had some challenges as well. So kudos to you. Yeah, just a little bit of tweaking, really. Navigation for sure. All right. And resize that. I like this. All right. Good job. Again, let me check. Yeah, we change fonts when we go to the menu. So that you want to be consistent with. All right. Yeah, that's a serif instead of a sans serif. All right. I always love when I see this. And this is super clean, very easy to read, and great color. I don't know if it came this color or if you colored it, but it's really on brand. Nice text. I like that this is the color of this. And a contact. You do good work, Lonnie. And these are all going there. Let's see if we do this. Okay. Okay. All right. Typically, we want to get into things right away. The content that we promised them we're going to be giving them. But it's not bad. I mean, I can still see that that's where we're going. Just something to think about because you'll probably hear me mention it on other sites. Okay, and our content, let's go here. Yeah, our text is consistent. It's all uppercase in this case. Okay, nice. If you want, you can add content to make this line up. It doesn't bother me that it doesn't. I like that everything is even. Okay, these will need pictures. If they're already there and they're not loading, then the files are too big, but it looks like they need to be uploaded. Okay. Definitely feels like a food truck. Okay. I wonder if the special events, great job. I wonder if they would be under news. I don't know. A lot of drop downs. This could be our story. And then if you want reviews as a drop down, I understand it's the same as this one with 2, but I think this could go where to find us, and maybe drop downs would be special events. Check it out, but nice coloring you have going on. Great shot. You want to edit this down just a little so it aligns with the image. Bring that down a little. It's all good. Okay, this is taking a little longer to load. Looks great, but the resolution might be too big. It may have to be optimized. Okay. Looks great. You'll want to go through and proof and make sure that everything is just right on the details, but it's looking really good. You have very little left to do. All right. Great job. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right, Lydia, let's see. Okay. I feel like there's a slightly, well, we'll see. I wonder, this, stays with this aesthetic and the green works with this. Just want to make sure it's all pulling together. The red, not so sure about in this situation. Okay. You can add a little there to make this align, or I'll take something out here. Okay, good. Is this suddenly a new font we have here? Have this. I feel like this is, both of these are new fonts. So while it may work by itself, I think you want to make sure you go through and have some consistency. These don't always work as all caps, so they're great for initials and things like that, but sometimes they don't work as well with some words. Okay, probably need to optimize these images. They're loading kind of slow. Very cool though. Really like your shots. Make sure the kerning is where you want it. It's a little wide. Yeah, definitely a little wide here. We need to bring in the kerning a little bit, the space between each letter. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure this page is needed. Probably would do away with it. Okay, so this font works all right. So yeah. Just some choices on your text, which way you want to go with that. Yeah, we want to make sure we don't have glassware here. It feels a little like a food truck, but it came up kind of slow, and this had kind of a lavender effect to it, or a little more magenta. Let's left align this and try not to have a single word by itself, but that's just the right amount of content for this particular block. So you notice this font that we have here. Okay, you've really done some work here because, okay. Let's just choose 2 fonts throughout the whole thing for the most part. Okay, kerning is a little wide on this page too. Okay. All right. I like the wood. I like the colors that you have, and you did try to bring in the blues. So I can see you trying to work with that. I feel like we've changed fonts again here. Okay, so we've got some serif, sans serif, and this is seemingly different. Okay, all right. It's coming together very nicely, and you are linking up, so good for you. This could definitely be a food truck image. All right, good job. Okay. Okay, Deanne, I like the food truck. I like that a lot. Okay. Be mindful of that's glassware. Is the only thing. It looks a little more like a restaurant. The photos are great, but keep that in mind. This works out well. Do you have this background on your home and it just didn't load? Because the gray is not working so much for me. This is okay, but this blank canvas, not a fan of. Maybe you could extend if the image, if there's more to it, maybe it would go the full width. But this is a nice layout. It's looking good, and I do like this color. It works really well with the site. Okay. All right. We do have different fonts going on. You know, I realized some of this was the font that you were given on your information, your content, but now you'll want to make sure that it's consistent throughout. Okay, that appears different too. And this favicon, I think, should link up. I'm not sure you need, the URL. I think this would be nice by itself. But you have it all above the scroll, and that's really great. Okay, this looks a little skewed, so you want to be careful with that. You might want to use the transparent here. You could go white if you wanted, or you could go blue with a little bit of transparent, white transparent behind it. Maybe a circle. Anyway, something to think about. I could go a little larger in that situation. Okay, so this you're still working on. You're going to get that edited down a little bit, probably to about there, and that will be great. All right. So mostly just some consistencies, but I know how hard it is to get it just to this point. So, you know, good job, and I'm looking forward to seeing the finish. All right. Okay, so I feel like I should be able to click that. Okay, and you could possibly put the navigation someplace else. It's a little cramped here. I suddenly see this background. I didn't see it before. Was it there? It just didn't show up. Okay, it shows up a little further as we scroll down. Left align all of that. Again, this is kind of a crunched situation here. Think about that. It's a little crowded. Okay. This blue is working for you. I can read it. And you can go through and see if there's any alignment issues that you want to correct and make these deeper or not. I'm not going to go over everything. Yeah, we can take this off unless you plan on doing that before you resubmit. Okay, this is working for you. And the contact. Okay. Yeah, you could get into that a little quicker, a little more like that. So we have a lot of space here that we're not able to really utilize. A little crowded. So I would just kind of work out that spacing a little bit, but you've done a really good job keeping most everything above the scroll. Okay, so good work with that. Okay. Okay, let's bring that up, reflow that period here, Dante. Gets a little tight here, right? So you might want to do something about this where there's more padding underneath it. You can see certainly it overflows here. Or you can move these, okay, so that they don't conflict when they get there. Okay, so this is a picture of words. And it's locked. I feel like it's the same thing that we gave you. I can't select it, so it's not entered. Feeling like that's a picture of words, so this has to be entered. See how we're getting into a conflict here. Okay, all right, but that looks like that's your overall plan here. Bring this up a little bit to align with your menu. Okay, interesting blue. It's really an interesting shade. I like it a lot. It's got a little bit of green in it, a little bit of teal. Okay, so you'll want to add the actual times and locations. Okay, yeah, move this someplace else so we're not, you know, this is nice and easy. I like that. These are now linking up to Wix, so you'll want to link those up to Real Deal Taco, catering. Okay. Okay, we kind of have a different aesthetic going on here. Color changes a little bit, and definitely need to cut this down, but you did enter it, and that's good. So yeah, a little less space there. You know, get into the store a little sooner, and make sure that the images, the text, have the same amount of space between them. So this would come up, okay, and then this would be the same as this, and that would be like this much padding here. Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah, so I think you just need to relocate this a little bit, make sure you're consistent with all your headers. This is a little different. That's the same. No header here. It doesn't bother me, but we do need to have those locations entered. All right, good job. All right, so clearing the logo, that will be important. Okay, doing a good job using the images in the folder. This color with that, not a big fan. It's struggling. I don't know that we're able to change this color, but that would help if you're going to be working with this. Some of the blues in the images work, so it's green. Let's see. Seems like you'll probably do something with the header here. And images look good. This is hard to read. We need higher contrast with the gold that you have here. Okay, I know it's lovely, but we have to get rid of aesthetics. Sometimes we have to sacrifice that for something that works. Sometimes appearances aren't always the most important. So capitalize these, the D and the T. And, you know, we're off to a new script here. I know it's the one that comes with the template, but, you know, we have this up here. So we want to change that. In this color font, I don't know, it may be in one other place, but we want to be consistent. And honeymoon, that's getting a little lost over the image. Might have to brighten that up. And definitely want more padding between this body text and the image here. Okay. And cut that down to align with the bottom of the picture. Yeah, so most people just have to work with some consistency. We can't have this because it's a food truck, so they're not booking a table. Here's your locations. I would just say locations here. Okay. For me, well, I guess order online is useful nowadays, but here I'd put locations and then contact. Testimonials can be kind of sprinkled throughout. Not sure that you need a whole page for them. Okay. But otherwise, you're getting real close. All right. Good job. All right. We want to bring everything up. All right. I don't think these are going to be in the way, so that's cool. But we have to scroll a lot. It's kind of a good aesthetic. You know, this simplified feel here, but we have a little too much space in places. Okay, and you can always lock these over here and bring these things up higher. But this image probably should be cropped and focusing on this because we really need to get into that a little quicker. Okay. Okay, so we want to get closer to, make this go to the Real Deal Taco Facebook. We want to get a little closer. I like the text actually for this, but we want to get a little closer to the content the first time we go to blog. We're having to click, and unless you have a few more with an image or something for us to choose from, we just have the one. So when we click blog, we should go to that one. Locations. Okay, locations, locations, locations. How about, let's see, the time of day. Okay, so you want to work on that. Let's swap this. I know the menu is important, but people are just used to finding home on the left. And this is a picture of words, so that'll be entered. All right. All right, so I think you're onto something. You're just going to be kind of bringing things up a little more to where they're above the scroll. We can get into the content sooner, and you have the opportunity to do that because you don't have a lot of header space that you've taken up. You can get a little higher up, and we don't need to have the logo on two places on the same page. All right, I know that came with that probably. All right, good job. Okay, feeling very fishy in a good way. This I feel could be a little cleaner. It's a PNG, and I think we want the vector graphic here. Or maybe just go a little smaller would work. Okay, so this looks like the two fonts that you're using. Is that going to be consistent? Because here's another one. This one's different. And you want to link those up. That is linked up. This one, Facebook maybe. And I feel like this is maybe, yeah. Okay, and you have a slider here. Okay, cool, let's see that. Very cool. You want your images to align, so whether that's resizing, you want to have the same amount of space here as here. Okay, watch that gutter space. This came with. Okay. Not centered, right? So we want to work on that. Okay. Have that on one line rather than by itself. And rewrap that. Rewrap that. Rewrap that. Looks like, okay. And you're going to want to put your images in here and your desserts. Okay. Good. You have your fictitious disclaimer and your copyright date. Okay. Okay. Picture of words. We're going to enter all that so that it's SEO friendly. People can find it if they were to do a search. And yeah, you're going to want to tell us where they are and when. Let's not skew the shape here. And this purple is suddenly new to me, I think. All right, so I think by the things we've talked about with other sites, I think you have a real good idea of where you want to go now. And if this is smaller, we can bring things up a little bit, bring this up, and get into your content quicker. All right? That's just, okay. This will just slow your site down. Okay, this video back here, it will just slow it down. I know it's cool, but it will. All right. I can't wait to see this again. All right, everybody. Good job. I'm looking forward to seeing these week 4 when you've had some time to rebuild and you will be working on your portfolio in between for just a skeleton. All right. Good job.